Hey, Tony Gaskins here, popping in. I wanted to post this little quick video. Hopefully it's quick. I was listening to the Bible this morning while I was in my massage chair, and it was talking about Joseph. And the message I got from that is, if you are faithful, you will be promoted. And if you realize, when Joseph was in prison, he was promoted. When Joseph was in prison, his gift made room for him. And he was able to interpret the dreams of the other prisoners. And he told them, when you get out, remember me. They forgot him until Pharaoh, or whoever that was, the king, needed a dream interpreted, and nobody could interpret it, and they remembered Joseph. And they called Joseph, and he was able to use his gift. Now, before that, when he was in, Potiphar's house, he was a servant. But because of his faithfulness, he was elevated. He was elevated and put in charge. And see, the anointing was so strong on him, the man's wife wanted him. That wife wanted her a piece of him. That's another lesson that you got to realize, is when you own yours, when you get on your grind, when you go to doing what you're supposed to be doing, you're going to start to look good. You're going to start to be attractive when you focus on your calling, your purpose. It's going to be people wanting to distract you. More people going to want to be your friend. More people going to want to be around you. They're going to want to take from you, drain you, because of that oil on you. So this is where the man get thrown in prison. Sometimes what you got to realize, that call on your life gonna send you through. That call on your life gonna cost you. That call on your life is going to challenge you. That you're gonna be thrown in prison. That you're gonna have to sit down, and you're gonna have to go through. You're gonna have to get a message, hear a word. You're gonna have to deal with some things because of what you called to. Now listen, never in your mind could you imagine being in prison and then running a country. Never in your mind could you imagine that. So what you have to realize is that God will take you from the prison to the Pentagon, to the president's house, to the penthouse, from one penthouse to another one. But see, you have to think about and always realize that you have to go through it. That when you're in your lowest, when you're being tried the most, the only reason is to snuff out that gift. The only reason is to break you where you are, so that you don't get to where you're supposed to be. That's the only reason. And it's nothing more, nothing less. But see, we cannot see where we are supposed to be when we in our prison. When we sit down there in that dungeon, in that den, and a couple other inmates call on us for a little help, we can't see that one day we're going to be second in command, running a country. Now this metaphor, okay? Parable. And that hit me. If you are faithful. See, if you work on a job for a boss, the same thing. If you faithful, you will be favored. If you are consistent, if you are prompt, you will be promoted. It's eventually gonna come. Now, a lot of times people have one and not the other. They'll get to work early, they'll stay late, they'll work hard, but they're not giving service with a smile. So they're wondering why they get passed up for the promotion, and somebody else who is less talented, who don't work as hard, get the promotion. It's because they got the smile. It's because they got the energy. It's because they know everybody's name, they speaking to everybody, they shaking every hand. They ain't just coming and just doing the work, they doing the other things. They doing the little things. They got the intangibles. So see, sometimes we have one and not the other. So you have to be faithful, and you have to be mindful of how you need to show up in the space that God has you in. And when you can do that, that's when your life is going to change. If you are faithful, you will be favored. And that thing hit me. And I'm gonna keep on listening. I done been through the story of Joseph, but I'm in Genesis right now, chapter 39 through 41. In chapter 41, it only went up to verse 16, so I'm gonna be listening to this after. Probably tomorrow it'll take me through when Joseph became second in the kingdom and was able to call them shots, able to set things up, able to interpret the dream and help prepare for it. Now see, that's a lesson right there. You notice that the king had a dream. We ain't talking Martin Luther King had a dream, but the king had a dream, and Joseph interpreted the dream. And he said, oh, you finna have 7 years of bountiful, plentiful, and then you're gonna have 7 years of famine. So what do we need to do? In the 7 years of plenty, we need to take 20% and we need to put it up. So that in the 7 years of famine, we not only have what we can get from the land, but we got this extra that we've stored up. See, when you was getting them unemployment checks, when you was getting them stimulus checks, when you get your tax return, do you put up 20%? Or do you start going out to eat more? Start shopping more? Start giving more money out like Big Willie? Or do you put up 20% for when things get regular? For when the stimulus checks cut off? When the unemployment cut off? Cut in half? When the SBA loans is exhausted? Do you have 20% from your plenty put up? Ain't none of us got it. Ain't none of us got it. 0.01% of people got that 20% put up. 0.01%. But look at Joseph. You see what I'm saying? See, a lot of times we want to be elevated, but we're not prepared. We want to be put in position, but we're not prepared. And we will work and we will fight and we will claw and we will end up positioned, but not prepared. I remember when I became the first life coach on salary in the NBA. I was on a retainer. I was positioned, but I was not prepared. I had not read a single book about team building, about team chemistry, about assisting and helping people. As a mentor, I had not read a single book. I was 31 years old. We had a player on the team older than me. Other players was a year younger than me. But I'm supposed to be telling them what to do. I probably made around $500,000 a year at that time. These guys, we had players making $30 million a year. How, as men, we equate our self-worth with our net worth. How a man who making even $3 million A man who making $3 million don't take advice from a man who make $500,000. I was only making not only, but I was making $500,000 at the time. And so, who finna listen to me? Nah, but if I had knowledge and skill, if I had a different set of wisdom, then I would have been able to add more value. So I was positioned, but I was not prepared. I took a lesson from that experience. And I stopped trying to rush my process. I stopped trying to rush God. And I said, Lord, do not give me anything a second before I'm ready to receive it. Lord, do not give me anything a second before I'm ready to receive it. That thing hit me. What just hit me is a new series called 15 Minutes of Wisdom. And it's going to be a mass reach out to all of the short attention span of the world who ripping and running and don't have the time to listen to an hour video. The Lord just hit me. Tony, let's add this series so that when you got a little message, that don't need a whole hour, be okay posting a 15-minute and be okay posting 4 or 5 of them in one day. Get ready. Lord, just put that on me. And you know why it hit me? Because I'm moving. See, when you moving, that brain get to flowing. Everything firing. You using what he gave you. But when you sitting idle, you ain't doing no work. You ain't exercising. He can't speak to you. You can't hear him. That's why, if you notice in the Bible, God is heavy on work. The Bible says, if you don't work, you will not eat. The Bible says the folding of your arms and that slumber leads to poverty. The Bible says to study the ant because she don't rest. It work. You hear me? Now we understand as humans we got to sleep. But outside of that sleep, you need to be working. You need to be grinding. Now, when you get a message like this is also work. This is a part of your work. But when you watching reality TV, that's not work. So if you're going to have reality TV on, you know what you also need to have on? Your laptop or your tablet and taking notes and ideas about your business and your dream. You need to be working. Got to be working and making something happen. So, hey, listen to me now. Remember, take this with you. If you are faithful, you will be favored. If you are faithful, you will be favored. Oh, I felt like the women in the church. You just, woo, Lord, I thought I was waiting on God, but I just realized he waiting on me. Tony, you ain't ready for 10 million a year. You ain't ready for 10 million a year. Can you handle 2 million? If you can't handle 2 million, how you gonna handle 10? Son, show me that you faithful, and then I can elevate you. This ain't for everybody, but it's for somebody. Hey, God bless you. Lord willing, I'll have another one up for you here soon.